right, we're moving ahead. I mean, we are right in the thick of things now, guys. We went with no shows for what seemed like 3 years. I don't even think it was a full 3 months. I think it was much closer to 6 weeks. But either way, we are now going to get 3 shows in a 9-day period, including Anthony Smith versus Glover Teixeira, which, by the way, that fight needs to happen. For many reasons that needs to happen, not just for fun and not just for excitement, but you have 2 former number 1 contenders. I mean, the history books say if you were a number 1 contender, another guy was a number 1 contender, you go fight each other. That's just what the rules say. Boxing started this, but MMA piggybacks right on that too. I'm a little surprised this isn't a rematch. I'm a little surprised these two have stayed apart from each other as long as they have. And when you look at the X's and O's of this fight, these guys are really, really equal on paper. You got 2 good grapplers here. You got 2 good wrestlers here. You got 2 guys that are experienced and they're in the 5-round club here. But you also have 2 guys that are as heavy-handed and as scary on their feet as anybody in the division. I mean, 2 guys that went toe-to-toe for 25 minutes with John Jones and were able to protect and defend themselves at all times. Look, if Glover Teixeira hits you on the face and a clean shot, you're going home. If Anthony Smith punches you in the face with a clean shot, that fight is now over. When I look at this match, I, in many ways, can give you a very heavy prediction that we do not see 5 rounds. That, to me, would be a stun. And I don't know how either guy could hold up from the other guy's onslaught for 25 minutes. And I just don't think that we're going to. I think that this is going to be a battle of who is faster. I think it is going to be a battle of who can get to their target first. I hit you and you don't hit me. Name of the game. I say it 100 times over here, but I feel like sometimes I have to because we can break down these things all we want. I hit you and you don't hit me. It's going to be a good night for me. When you look at Anthony Smith versus Glover Teixeira, you look at where they look in the rankings, you look at where they sit, and I understand that Anthony is closer to that number 1 contendership than Glover is, but to act as though you can ignore Glover or to act as though a win over Glover or to act as though a main event spot on ESPN victory over Glover doesn't mean something, you're wrong. And so many times a guy like Anthony will have a ranking, say number 3, and then he's got to go fight a guy like Glover, say number 9. I don't know what they're ranked, but I know I'm very close. And the number 3 guy will come into it with a perception of, well, what do I have to gain? I'm already ranked ahead of him. It's not all about rankings, guys. Sometimes it's about perception. You're closing out the show when you're the main event. That means something. If you're the worldwide leader, that means something. And if you take a guy out and you look good doing it, that means something. So this whole business about where do I go from here? Quit overthinking your career. Run a career like Anthony Smith does, which is to pick up your phone and say yes to whatever idea you hear and then hang up and then walk out when it's time and do the best that you can. You do not need to overthink your career any more than that. There are some things that just don't need overthought. Let me give you another example. Let me back up to 249 and tell you one of the highlights of the entire evening. One of the highlights of the entire evening was the post-fight speech by Justin Gaethje. Many people coming into this fight don't even know what a Justin Gaethje is. Many people. You hardcore fans know who he is. Some of you really hardcore fans even followed him through the World Series of Fighting. Saw him when he was 18-0, comes in against Michael Johnson, sets the world on fire, goes on to the Ultimate Fighter. Some of you know the story. The little old lady in Iowa, as the expression goes, the casual, the average, they don't even know what a Gaethje is. Justin Gaethje goes there, he takes care of business. Okay, he's got a great left hook, he's got a powerful right hand, he's got some good wrestling, he's a durable guy. Great. That's great. There's 556 guys under contract. They all fit that bill. But Justin Gaethje did something different in his post-fight speech. He spent 3 minutes talking about who he was as a human being. It was a very revealing, insightful, and interesting interview. He started talking about the guy that you see in the cage is a guy you will never meet in a walk of life unless you're my opponent in here. Started talking about the degree that he got in college. Started talking about that he would, if he wasn't fighting, he would be doing social work. That his true love in life is at-risk kids, helping his neighbor, being a good husband. It was just a very interesting interview, and there's no way that thing gets done and you don't instantly love him. That you just instantly go, okay, aside from I love to watch him fight, now I'm attached to him. That's a different level of attachment. The greatest place you can ever get in this sport, it's a very rare place, but it's where the outcome of the match doesn't matter. I got to win this fight. I got to win this fight or else. That's true. 9.99999 out of 10 times. But that other little decimal there, if the outcome no longer matters, you're still going to be a main event, win or lose. You're still going to bring a crowd to their feet, win or lose. You're still going to be a featured athlete, win or lose. You're still going to get all of the media and all of the interest and all of the photographs and all of the questions at the press conference, win or lose. And the way you do it is you get people to come along the journey, not just to tune in for the competition. You got to have them come along the journey. And the only way you can do that is to personalize yourself, to let them know who you are and why this matters to you. I don't think that was Justin's intent. I think it might have been an accidental byproduct. Either way, he knocked it out of the park. Grand slam. Justin Gaethje is going to have more fans moving forward than he ever could have possibly dreamed of, and it has nothing to do with that gold belt. Not an accurate statement. It does have something to do with success. But a larger piece of that pie, I would say roughly 80 to 85%, had to do with him welcoming people into his life, sharing who he was, why this is important to him, what is next for him, and why they should care.